All right, guys, welcome back to the Pigskin Pirates channel. Today I will be reviewing my team, the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm going to keep it short and sweet with the first three games. Win. Two games, Arkansas. Yes, it's at Arkansas. That doesn't scare me too much. It's a noon slated game. Nothing to, cry home about. Maybe not a blowout, just because I know Kirby, for some reason, his team won't wake up till the second half against, teams that they don't need to wake up for. Nothing to worry about. Oklahoma's the first game that, I'm intrigued by. They still have a great defense. I don't know exactly how many players they lost in the portal and in the draft. I think they only lost two, key guys. That defense is still stout. I think it will be a pretty low-scoring game. I don't think anybody will go over 28 points. I think Georgia wins it. It looks closer than it actually was, though. Like, it'll be like 24-17, but it was clear that Georgia was going to win the whole time. Vanderbilt, ever since Jared Curtis decided to flip to Vanderbilt, this game means a little bit more to me. In fact, I hope they start him just so he can see what he missed out on. I'm not going to talk much about this game. Vanderbilt, while a good football team, it's at Georgia. It's Vanderbilt. We haven't lost to Vanderbilt in 15 years. Nothing to cry home about again. I think it's a win. There's that. Okay, here we go. Alabama. My first problem is that it's at Tuscaloosa. That's never good. Ever. My main problem is Kirby, unfortunately. He's the best coach in college football. You can't tell me otherwise. If he has to have a kryptonite, it is the Alabama Crimson Tide. He always squanders a game. He won't come ready to play. Something goes wrong and we lose. If I were to say a game we lose, it's honestly this one, just because of our track record with Alabama.
That's the only time I have you losing, Collin, is this game.
Deep down, Kirby misses us, so maybe that's why he always loses to us.
And I would argue Kirk Cignetti's the best coach in college football. He won a national title at Indiana.
No.
Indiana.
Kirby's got two.
Hey, is it easier to win one at Indiana or two at Georgia? Look at the program.
I'll talk about that. He's the best coach, at least in my eyes. He's my coach. It will certainly be a really good game. I think the fact that we have Nate Frazier and one of the better O-lines in the SEC will certainly help. On paper, I can't give you a reason as to why we would lose to Alabama. I think we're the more physical team. I think our defense is better, except for the secondary. Alabama does have a really good secondary. It's just because it's Alabama. That's honestly, for Georgia, that's a very viable reason to give you, because we are playing Alabama. I think we drop this game. It's a close game and it's a good game. I think we do lose this game, though. Next we have two kind of interesting games. Auburn is technically a rivalry. I say technically because we really lose to them. Don't bring up 12 years ago. That didn't happen. I as much as I like all the transfers they bring in, they brought in. Whoa. I love their head coach. I thought what he did at USF was awesome. I think this is a win. I don't know if he's SEC ready, if that makes sense. Not to hype up the SEC like that. Playing against, North Texas is one thing. Playing against Georgia is another thing. And I think he'll experience that this season. I think this is a loss for Auburn, though. Then I believe the Florida game, because the stadium's getting restructured. It's played closer to Florida now. It's played in like, at least this season, it's in like Jacksonville or something. I don't know exactly where it is. It's technically still a neutral site.
My dad used to always. This is back when Spurrier was at Florida, but he used to always say, "This gives Georgia a disadvantage because you're playing in Florida, even though it's Jacksonville." Yeah. My dad always felt like that was kind of a bad place for Georgia. I always gave him a disadvantage. Of course, it don't matter right now because Florida is a lot. They're struggling right now.
They do have a promising new head coach, I will say. He did look impressive in the SEC media days.
Florida always has players. I mean, they had players even with Billy Napier. They just couldn't get done on the field. And so if they can start getting, Auburn has players too. Both of them have talent. That's why, Collin, you're saying it's tricky. They're teams that are down and out, and they got good coaches. It's like, but they got new coaches, but they have players. They have a bit more players than some of the even more scarier teams on the schedule.
Oh, yeah. And by now, in October 31st, you should probably expect what kind of team Florida is at that point.
I don't quite know how I feel about Florida yet. I'm certainly not high on them, but like they could be like a top 30 team at the end of the season. I think this is a win for Georgia. Don't get me wrong, but I think it will kind of be like last season, where we didn't play great the first like 2 quarters, and then we woke up and we started playing with Georgia. It'll be kind of the same thing. I think this will be a win though. Then we go to Oxford. And this is very interesting.
Yeah,
this is very interesting.
Rematch from the playoff last year.
If we didn't lose to them in the playoffs last year, I would have been like, new head coach, no problem, this should be a win. It's going to be, I think this will be a good game for years to come now. Especially now that head coach just has I don't even know his name. It was their offensive coordinator.
Pete Golding.
Pete Golding. I could see it going either way.
I had you guys winning that, and there's probably a reason why. I'm wondering, what their schedule looks like before they play you two? That impacts things because, I trying to pull up the Ole Miss schedule.
But I will say Trinidad Chambliss, if he has a season like he did last year, watch out.
Yeah,
he could be a Heisman, candidate at that point.
So they host Auburn right before they play Georgia. Yeah, this could be they go to Oklahoma after you guys. That helps Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. They play Texas before Auburn, so they got to go to Texas. They go to Texas, then they play Auburn, then they play Georgia, then they play Oklahoma. So I don't know. You guys are in a kind of it'd be interesting. They do have a brutal schedule, but you guys are kind of in a part where it's not like they're playing Texas right before you guys, so they might be distracted. They might be banged up, though, by the time they get to you. Who knows?
Yeah. I think I'm big this year, especially. I'm not sure on our wide receiver room. I'm hoping for, not even a leap, just like an extended amount of physicality. We're returning a good amount of our O-line. We still have Nate Frazier, who I think is at least the second best running back in the SEC. If Frazier can, run the football better than Lacey can, I think this is, almost certainly a win. If both running games are solid, I think it's a toss-up because I've seen when Gunnar Stockton is, he's put in a situation where he has to throw, he can throw. But, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Trinidad Chambliss can, throw the ball way better. Not way better, but especially downfield. He has way better eyes than Gunnar does. If it's low scoring, definitely Georgia. if the defense gets out of hand, I don't know. I lean Ole Miss just because I still don't really trust Gunner in a shootout. As good as he played against them last year in a shootout, I do not know if he can do that again. As you know, I love Gunner Stockton. He fits so perfectly in Georgia's scheme. Georgia's scheme is not air raid. Let's throw the ball 100 times. It's pound the rock and then throw it once. I'm really not sure on that game. I couldn't tell you. I think it's a win. I think Georgia takes that game, though.
Last second field goal.
I think it kind of ends how it did last year. We start the fourth quarter down, we score a touchdown, and Ole Miss just can't reciprocate anything for the rest of that quarter. Missouri, for some reason they're ranked. I have no idea why. I couldn't tell you. They're Missouri. I've never thought highly on them, especially this season. I think that's a win, especially because it's at Georgia. But that's a win. South Carolina, I guess, is our kind of trap game. You could say Arkansas, sure, but South Carolina is kind of good, and it's at South Carolina. That could be a good game if South Carolina has so many players that are really good, but they don't have a lot of players that are kind of good. They have multiple, Dylan Stewart, Sellers, and Nick Harbert, all outstanding players, future NFL players in my eyes. Outside of that, they don't have a lot of talent, just being quite frank. So if the rest of the team can step up, this can be a really good football team. They haven't done that in the past 2 seasons. I don't see them, turning it on this season. I think it's a win for Georgia. And then Georgia Tech. For some reason, the past 2 seasons, it's been, awkwardly close. You couldn't have told me 2 seasons ago we would have won 8 overtimes. Georgia Tech, that's ridiculous. I think this is a win, though. Which puts us at least at 11-1, maybe 10-2. I think our floor is 9-3 at the absolute least. We lose to Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss. That's if we don't play good. I think we can go 12-0. I see us. We're honestly, I would say we're locked to make the playoffs. Especially considering I think we'll only drop 1, maybe 2 games. SEC championship, I guess it kind of depends on how good Alabama and Ole Miss are. I would say likely, just considering I don't think the other teams that could make it have a really hard schedule. So I think playoffs, yes. Championship, maybe. I'm not sure.
So for one, I found one funny detail. I'm looking at the ticket prices over on the right, and the Alabama game's cheaper than the Vanderbilt game. I don't understand that. So
trust me.
Trust me. Buy some Alabama Georgia tickets right now. That's right.
when it comes time for that game, trust me, tickets for the Bama Georgia game are going to be outrageous. We're going to go for 1,000 up. It's crazy.
That stood out. Yeah. So Georgia, I feel like, is quietly underrated. Georgia last year was really young, and they've returned a lot of their players. Collin, you hit on the head and hammer on the head on. I'm a little worried about the wide receiving core, but it's more that they're unknown better rather than that they're bad. It's just you lost a lot of players there. Your tight ends, though, I've heard are very good, and Kirby loves to use tight ends in the passing game, and he might have his best tight end core, according to what they're saying, that he's ever had. The defense at times gave up, especially big plays in the passing game, more so than what I'm used to a Georgia defense last year. Was that youth or something else? I don't know. But to me, Georgia should be the cream of the crop of the SEC this year. I put them as number 1 in my postseason. People have them ranked at 6 or 7. That's insane. They should be a lot higher. They should be ahead of some of these teams like Miami and Indiana and frankly Texas. I don't know why Texas is ahead of them, other than the name. I don't understand that. So I think Georgia is quietly an underrated team. Nobody's talking about them as a national champion. They are a national title contender. They're probably the SEC's best chance at winning the national title as well. That being said, there's a few tricky games. That South Carolina game could be tricky. I think you guys are good enough to beat them. Ole Miss is definitely tricky, as you pointed out, and Alabama is definitely tricky. But I think that Georgia will roll through the schedule. I think they'll maybe drop I have them dropping Alabama. If they don't drop Alabama, maybe they drop Ole Miss. One of those two. I think y'all dropped Ole Miss, was it 2 years ago in Oxford as well. But I think that worse, you're probably at 10-2. At 10-2, you may not make Atlanta, but that's probably the worst. You'll still be in the playoff. So I think this team rolls in the playoff. I think they're the team to beat in the SEC, and they're most likely to go 12-0. Sawyer, what's your take?
Yeah. Honestly, I can probably agree with you on the 12-0 standpoint. Honestly, okay, so I will say this. I think that your trap game could be at South Carolina at the end of the season. It very well could be with Lenore Sellers. And, yeah. So I think that's a sneaky game that you guys have to watch out for. Because you guys might be like tired and blown out after that Ole Miss game. Because who knows, that Ole Miss game could be a shootout like it was last year. So you could have some fatigue there. That's really my. I mean, I would say Oklahoma maybe too, but I don't know what Oklahoma's offense can be besides
John Mateer is going to be very
John
good.
Mateer.
Yeah, John Mateer.
Yeah, he's going to be good. He'd be very good. We already know about their defense too. Their defense is going to be good.
But Oklahoma, to me, has the same problem that Texas and Alabama has. They can't run the ball, and they got problems with their offensive line. And that's only going to take them so far. And against Georgia in Athens, I don't like that. I don't like – of course, I don't like – I should be saying the same thing about Alabama and Georgia, but Alabama is just like mystique over Georgia. I don't know what it is. Even when they can't run the ball, they can still beat them like last year in Athens. But there's some kind of mystique there. But I just think Oklahoma doesn't match up very well with Georgia, in my opinion, because they can't – unless they can figure out how to run the ball, unless they've – and their offensive line plays a lot better than they did last year.
So mainly the main two games that really you should look out for is playing against us and South Carolina. That's what I think, especially.
I think that's it on Georgia. Next up, Tennessee, which is not a playoff team, but could be an interesting one.